Good evening and welcome back to my fortress whose name I've forgotten, Rhythmgates. Not nose tools. So where, as I recall, we were mostly trying to get the water out of the cavern lakes, having walled them off from everything else. Or rather, out of the main cavern lake. We're keeping one cavern lake because that's our water supply. So we've dug a few channels, but there is still an awful lot of water there. But we can see down to 6/7 in some squares. So we might want to work out if we can connect up some more drains, because we've got like 2 at the moment. One on this side here, and one over here somewhere, because they were vaguely convenient to get at. Because like a lot of our problem here is that there isn't open space around the lake, so we have to tunnel through to get suitably close to it. Which is why we constructed that bit over there. We probably want to put some more drains in some of the, I was going to say in some of the more open bits of the northern lake, but like most of it's quite fiddly really. I suppose a drain that connects up to this largish area here would probably be good, wouldn't it? And another thing that I mentioned in the stream title is that our chief medical dwarf necromancer has been under a great deal of stress for a long time, in part because of his major injury, and in part because he was having difficulty finding anywhere to pray, in part because he has no friends, he has no family, he can't eat, he can't drink, he can't sleep, because he doesn't need to do any of those, and apparently they're impossible if you don't need to do them. So he is not the cheeriest of people. I think I did have a thought though. Well, I have 2 thoughts regarding him. One is that while he doesn't, that we could assign, he won't claim a bedroom because he has no need for a bed, but we could still assign him a bedroom, and then we could make it a very nice bedroom, or we could indeed assign him a sculpture garden or similar and fill it with statues, really, really nice jewel-encrusted statues, and that might cheer him as well. I suppose if we could get him to make friends with people, that would be good. But he does have, the thing is, he's got a passing acquaintance in the fortress and a deity, and that's like, he's got a bunch of passing acquaintances. He's not made any friends in the fortress, so this is a bit of a problem. I mean, in part that'll be probably because he's a necromancer, but he's spending his time in the library at the moment. Is he? No, he's practicing his individual combat drill. So I'm kind of inclined to give him a room somewhere that's got lots of nice stuff in it. Probably a bit bigger than a typical bedroom, so we can fill it with statues, and that might cheer him up. My other thought was that he might be quite useful for fortress defence, because we have been getting a few sieges, and sending our rather ill-equipped and undertrained military out there is likely to be a recipe for ending up with a lot of dead dwarves. But maybe we can just put a pile of reasonably scary skeletons outside, stick the necromancer on the other side of a fortification or a window or some such, and let him wave his hands and raise the skeletons, and have them attack the sieging armies. The only worrying thing about that is that we then have to deal with the skeletons, because while they'll be peaceful towards our necromancer, they won't be peaceful towards anyone else. Anyone who's kind of properly alive. So I'm not quite sure whether that's a wise move. And we need to find a good stock of skeletons, because mostly we've been butchering the ones that we can butcher and atom smashing the rest. So it might require a bit of bootstrapping, as we send out I don't know, a giant Olm skeleton or a cave crocodile skeleton, and if we're lucky they eventually manage to kill one attacking creature who then adds to our stock of skeletons and so forth. So Pigby says, couldn't you open a special passages for sieges only, which is full of skeletons and necromancers? The problem isn't how we get the skeletons out there, it's how we get them back after the siege is finished. When presumably the outside world will be full, if everything goes well for us, the outside world will be full of roaming skeletons, and we need to deal with them. So yeah, I'm not sure this is a wise plan, shall we say. So I think we don't have any actually spare. Well, do we have any? We probably have some unoccupied bedrooms that we could de-bedroomify or possibly just fill with. Probably not on that floor, to be fair. But apart from that, because that's a dormitory, spare dwarves for the storing of. That one isn't actually a bedroom at all. So yes, are there any actually unused bedrooms? No. So we probably need to dig out more bedrooms anyway. That's the wrong size. Try it again. No. Okay, no, that doesn't work, does it? I'm getting my macros all in a twist here. I keep pressing the wrong keys. Right, I want to go DD in order to start digging. Position myself in a sensible place. Start macro. Carve out one bedroom. Suitable length of corridor. Another bedroom. And then go. Do I build the... No, we'll build the through corridor later, and then move down to the right position for the next one. I can remember how to do this. That's the staircase that runs all the way up to the surface. Yes, we should probably build a wall to seal it off again afterwards. Oh yes, yes. Pinkbee suggests that maybe we try to keep the skeletons in, um, and have them fight the besiegers as they come in, and hope they don't have blasters, as it were. No, and the only tricky thing is ensuring that the besiegers don't actually end up inside the fortress if things go wrong. I've ended up with five pairs of bedrooms on one side and 6 on the other. That feels kind of wrong. Right. That also saves the intersection problem. Then we can just dig a corridor through there. We have lots of miners now. Maybe a while before we can afford beds. Well, let's start making some statues then. What does our necromancer like?
Is it the Randall or not?
Not as far as I know.
Oh, okay,
Likes horses. And also barrels, sceptres, spiked balls, the words of the dead bones, the sound of the poetry of rhythms. Also, no, we didn't have serpentine. We had some other green stone, didn't we? Serpentine, billen. Yeah, that's not very helpful. What was the green stone that we had? Olivine, yes. No, we can't make statues out of bones, I'm afraid. There! There's a wear monitor. What? No one told me we had a wear monitor. Do we have a wear monitor? We don't have a wear monitor. Well, that would explain why no one told me about them. Yeah, that's certainly a question to be asked. I mean, is that combat log just horribly old or something?
Like from those two?
No, we have had a wear monitor in this.
Okay. Is it always monitor? I assume you could have wear random things.
Yes, but it may be that this world doesn't have many other wear things. Because, like, it's an infectious disease. It can die out.
Yeah.
So it's currently the 25th of Slate, and that event was on the 25th. On the 24th of Slate, and it happened out here. And there is indeed someone's mangled corpse out here. Of course, the wear monitor may not appear as a wear monitor anymore if they've turned back into something more usual. So, is there anyone like nearby? Because I'm actually. Can we just say the wear monitor, Teku Sishajamas? So that's probably not a helpful name. because that's probably their wear monitor name. Because I'm wondering if we may have a recent arrival who is actually secretly a wear monitor. Just wondering if any of our visitors might possibly be covered in blood. Doesn't look like it. You have a small amount of blood on your ankles, but you're also a necromancer. I don't think you can be a necromancer and a wear monitor. So yeah, I'm slightly worried that one of our visiting scholars may turn out to be whatever the equivalent of lycanthropic is for a dwarf who turns into a giant lizard. Anyway, so we've got some people digging out what will become bedrooms once we have some wood. So probably they should also dig out some more drainage channels. I suppose now given that we have this wall across here, we can perfectly well dig through on the layer above, and we're guaranteed to have a floor. So we can just go. Let's just go straight through here, sort of thing. If we want to install some drains out this side. So if we kind of dig, need to be a bit careful, dig through to there and clear out enough access to the lake, and then we'll carve ourselves some stuff below that to let the water out. I think we can't actually make our standard drain in a wall this narrow, because we need a staircase. We need to carve fortifications on the very edge of the map. We need a staircase one in to get down there, and then we need at least one square that can keep the water out of that lot while we're constructing it. So here, in this section, we don't actually have enough space to do that, but here we do. So we can do a like 4 or 5 square wide drain. Let's actually keep it 4 squares wide so that we have walls on both east and west of it. Yes. Okay, so probably not Nish Taron Kivish, because they've been injured as well. Is that happening right now? Yes. Where's this wear monitor then? Am I being an idiot? I mean, it's all very complicated because everything's rather vertical around here. There's our scholar, who is apparently... so that's currently on... The scholar misses the wear monitor. The wear monitor strikes the scholar. Right. The wear monitor must be close to the scholar. It must be close to this scholar. Where... Can't be down from here. So that's just a dead body. And it's too far away. And yes, there's our scholar who is on some snow-covered ice, which has a dusting of snow. There's nothing else there. The squares around are all just ice and snow. The square vertically above is just open space. And like below, we're into solid ice. Where? I don't think invisibility is a thing in this game. Yes. I mean, I suppose I can send the military out in that direction and hope, but like...
By the time they get there, the Grandma's will nonchalantly turn back into a dwarf and be like, what, me?
Well, if you're standing around there uninjured, I'm going to be very suspicious of you. You're one of my citizens. No. Because that's you. Okay. You're trying to leave, right. Let's send the gloved tundras in vaguely the right direction in case they see something. Right, now he's fallen over in a perfectly ordinary fashion as though he's in a fight. He is in a fight. But there's no one visible to fight. So, Wear Monitor did own the mischievous savants and the dwarf. But doesn't seem to have used it for a little while. Oh no, the scholar struck the Wear Monitor with the mischievous savants. Okay, that's perfectly believable, yes. It would be slightly odd for a mischievous savant, for a wear monitor to be wielding a weapon. And there indeed is a copy of the mischievous savants and the dwarf. I mean, I think this scholar here is not long for the world now that they've passed out.
The werewolf just attacks something with a hat.
Yes. The were monitor has a hat. It's presumably a slightly better weapon than not a hat. I don't know quite how. I mean, I did have an entertaining thing in one of my fortresses a while ago, where I had a minotaur that I trapped, and occasionally threw invading armies at it, and it had a sock with like 10 kills. I think it's now its kill list appears on the Dwarf Fortress wiki page about socks, because dwarves famously like socks, and apparently so do others. So yes, this were monitor likes a hat. I mean, this is making this death a lot slower than it would otherwise be, because the were monitor is beating someone up with a hat, with a rather soft hat.
Beating someone up with a
Hat. Yes, with an alpaca wool cap, to be precise. And he's not going to seriously hurt their head, but may possibly manage to injure their neck eventually. I mean, the main thing the were monitor has going for it is that, as far as I can tell, it's invisible. I mean, maybe the dwarves can see it, even though I can't. Ooh. What's that? Is that another scholar? Is that the... No, that's not... Oh. The scholar attacks the were monitor, but it jumps away. Okay, so the were monitor's still there. And that was a different scholar. That was Zuglar Thingamy. So we think that Zuglar Thingamy is not a were monitor. So Nish and Zuglar are both not were monitors, because they're busy fighting the were monitor, whoever the hell the were monitor is. So Zuglar is scared of the were monitor and grouchy because it's snowing, which is why the blood keeps disappearing, I think. Brave scholar. Brave enraged scholar. Who is now getting beaten up with the hat. Any sign of the gloved tundras yet? Not yet. So everything is behaving as though this were monitor is visible and perfectly able to be fought. It's just I can't see it for some reason. Thank you. I really needed a birth announcement now. Where have the gloved tundras got to then? They're on the stairs somewhere. Where are the gloved tundras? Okay, they have basically not managed to leave the fortress yet. Yes, oh well, it'll be a while before they get up and actually join the fray. The wear monitor has started punching people again. That was not going to be good. Is Nish Taranvakis still alive then? Yes. Of course, the wear monitor has got distracted by Zuglalonania. And the Glove Tundras are still trying to organise themselves. Another scholar has turned up, well, a chemist. Still trying to organise themselves. Alright, they are heading towards the staircase. You can see the row of dwarves there. Up they go. How have we managed to lose any? No one's died yet. Oh! Now they appear as the human. Who we still can't see.
They're not masquerading as a pile of snow or something. Wait, that's a small village.
So let's start looking through my list. So this now says the human Tekkud Shishajamas. Different Tekkud. Yes, I appreciate dwarven babies are probably not the human in question. Also, shouldn't be pet or livestock, but like, let's do this the reasonably careful way.
Get it to sort by name.
Wouldn't that be helpful? Or to put this is another way, no. So I think we don't have a Tekkud Shisha Jamas anywhere on our lists. That's a different wear monitor. I think there is one occasion when they might not appear, which is if they are trying to ambush us. So if they're an ambusher, but then surely we and the thing is they haven't encountered any of the fortress's personnel. They've only encountered visitors. Oh, what? Right. Well, I think we couldn't see them because no one officially in the fortress had seen them, and they were I think hiding from us.
Not an omnipotent.
Well,
overseer,
I think we can see like anyone who is not deliberately hiding, but if they were deliberately hiding from us and ambushing us, then this might happen. And the thing is that they probably were they're being seen by visitors who were not part of the fortress didn't count. Because the visitors were kind of not quite one with the fortress, but we could see the visitors because they weren't hiding, or something weird like that. I'm not sure this is an entirely coherent area of the structure of the game.
You surprise me.
And so now we get this announcement, presumably this is because someone has actually made it up to the surface who works here, saying this human has turned up. In the like, let us put this in a little box because it's terribly important that a wear monitor has arrived, or something. So, right, let's try to understand this human then.
Yes. Unlike most other invaders, werewolves are only announced on their discovery, triggering a message similar to that of Megabeast, allowing them to get much closer to your fortress than most other threats.
Aha. And presumably in this case, because, yes, we didn't, no one in the fortress discovered them. And we actually only discovered them when they had turned back into a human.
Bugs. Sometimes a werewolf arrives in humanoid form, and the game then announces the arrival of a normal intelligent creature as if it was some terrible beast.
Yes.
Other bugs. Unlike other werebeasts, were-hedgehogs have shown the ability to unnaturally stretch their limbs for extra mobility.
That's nice. So, yes, we now have a random naked human on the surface.
Like an armless waterbending woman in Horror was a
Yes.
were-hedgehog in that place.
So we can cancel their order because, well, what we really want is to work out what this human is playing at. I mean, assuming... Yes, they're currently classed as friendly, which means we probably can't just randomly kill them. Maybe if we just leave them naked in the snow for a little while, it will not be a problem. And unfortunately, the visiting scholars, I think, don't have health insurance. So I don't know if we actually... You could at least have kept the alpaca wool cap when you turned back.
And the kill of the cat got.
I think none. I don't think it was used for the one kill that the werebeast got. Yes, it hasn't actually been used to kill anyone. Indeed, someone has already claimed it as their own. So, how about we construct a little corpse stockpile up here. On the assumption that we actually want to do something stupid with a necromancer eventually. And so that should, as a corpse stockpile, that should get unbutcherable corpses. Specifically corpses of intelligent creatures like this scholar. If they don't get assigned a coffin. Have we got a spare coffin just to make sure that if they do get assigned a coffin it will get used? No, we haven't. Yes, we have. Hang on. Yes, that one should not be used because we want to wait for Obok Kirarith's body to be retrieved from the water. Okay, so let's install some more coffins. Um, seems reasonable to keep at least those dead who aren't going to be buried. So it looks like our visiting neutral human has wandered off. So I suppose one thing we do need to check, that's the scholar who died. Did any of these get bitten? Didn't notice any biting. This one has mostly been struck with an alpaca wool cap. It's a rather messy kick. Oh, right, there's a bite there, okay. Well, conveniently you don't actually live here, so we might just be able to expel you. Right, so you're probably a wear monitor. So that's Zuglar Lolonanir is probably a wear monitor. I don't think I want to allow people to actually reside here. Don't really want you turning while you're inside the fortress. I mean, scholars may not stay very long, to be fair.
Yeah, so they want to study the tin library. If they don't do it with the silver library, then where's that one as well?
Don't think it is. So you're probably hauling that dwarf's corpse to the wrong stockpile at the moment, aren't you? So if I say temporarily forbid that corpse, is that enough? Will you put it down if I do that? Oh, you've stored it in the correct stockpile. Excellent. We'll leave that out there on the grounds that a dwarf corpse is probably useful for necromantic playings around. Just need to think about how we would construct something suitable. So what we probably want is somewhere that essentially we have an entrance that invading troops can come through, preferably quite a narrow one, leading into with a easily sealed door at the outer end, leading into an area where we keep the corpses and or zombies. Possibly with more doors or something, I'm not sure. And that then has to connect up to the main fortress nominally, so that people can path in through it. And of course that area needs to be visible to our necromancer, or at least there needs to be an area visible to the necromancer that's used for reanimating things as needed. I think I may want to think on that a moment longer. Plus my miners are probably busy anyway. I'll let people come in for eradicating monsters though, because they tend to have armour. Let's check precisely what our necromancer likes and see how many of them we can get in. So barrels, sceptres, spiked balls, horses.
Horses, sceptres and spiked balls.
Yep. Need to add one more object.
Ah, right, this is the bizarre picture tailored to cheer up Chief Necromancer's medical.
Right, so we will construct a statue of horses, sceptres, spiked balls and barrels. I'm sure that will make him happy.
Will it be at all obvious what these things are doing to, for, what, by, with or from each other?
Well, I can add some relationships. Maybe. I'm not sure if I can actually...
I want to see a barrel making a plaintive gesture. Okay, that would cheer me up, I must say.
Right, there we go.
Well, that certainly is a thing that will cause confusion.
So the fair room is an image of horses, sceptres, spike balls and barrels. The barrels are making a plaintive gesture and we don't really know how. The horses are surrounded by the spiked balls. The sceptres are hanging from the horses. Right, that will do, I think. So I think that will cause the second statue to be this weird thing. The first one is already underway, so...
You have to carefully construct this somewhere the medical necromancer isn't as a sort of surprise present.
I think that's kind of the plan. We'll put all of these statues in a room and then mark it as being the medical necromancer's sculpture garden.
Every time he walks past, everyone sort of whistles nonchalantly and pretends they're carving something else.
Yes. Barrel is making a plaintive gesture.
Because they really carved one.
Perfectly sensible. No, I'm replying to Pink Beast who asks, what?
Right. Good night. If there are people here tomorrow, I'll see you tomorrow.
I'll wait you repeating after you release it. Oh, we have to do the writing.
Yes. I'll put my head and go, ooh, analysis.
And some good as well.
Good night.
We are out of beds, so perhaps we could remove some spare ones from the dormitory. Yes, Pink Beast, we have coffee. Pondering what we do about this pesky scholar who has probably been infected with wear monitory. I wonder if we just declare the library closed temporarily, in the hope that that will cause everyone to leave, including the problematic person. Because we could go tin library, citizens only, and that would then turf out all of them, including our problematic one. Let's try. Well, it might do. Let's see what happens. Will all of the scholars now depart? Or will they not? It looks like that may not be enough to get them to go, sadly. We'll see. I suppose the alternative is we either formally disestablish the library or just lock the doors and let scholars eat one another. Right, you constructed a Galena statue of a purring maggot. Well done. Very nice one, but...
You said a purring maggot.
Yes.
Okay.
Let's say, at a high priority, let's smooth this nice one with the gems in the walls. And we'll turn that into the sculpture garden. It's going to want a door. We're going to need some more doors eventually, but since we have no spare beds anyway, meanwhile presumably our miners have set to work and cleared out. I've got quite a lot of clearing out over here done. So now we should work out how we build the drains there, which I think means you do 4 downstairs on this layer, 4 up downstairs on this layer, 4 upstairs on that layer, actually that's not quite right, is it? Well, actually staircases are just as cheap as anything else, as like general purpose holes, as it were. So where can we safely, we can't safely cut out that because that would let the water in, but we want to make this staircase, the staircases extend as far out as we can so that because they'll drain well. In that we can make a tall room there, and 2 units high drains a lot faster than 1 unit high. So now we're digging out the staircases. Staircases rather than actually open space, because it's a lot safer having staircases. And then high priority smoothing. Along there, actually. Well, no, we probably don't need the entire... Oh, sorry, we'll do the entire width. Along there and along there. One square left to be dug out because someone hasn't turned up. Right, well, that was probably a fairly efficient way of killing a troll. I don't know if it's actually dead yet, but it's certainly going to be damn close to it. A fractured skull after one of my visitors Ah, indeed, our local monster slayer. Turned up with an iron pike. And started trying to kill it. But here are the engravers. Give them some fortifications to carve. Right, so now you need to fairly carefully channel out ways for the water to escape. Water should now be starting to flow into here. Yes, excellent. Now I'm kind of being a bit careful about sending people in one at a time to cut away a little bit more of the rock, because I don't want anyone accidentally digging away the rock underneath someone else's feet. Someone is presumably assigned that job. Nope, that's someone turning up to collect the gems. Don't go that way, that's really brave. Apparently we've drained enough that they're now willing to walk through some of the bits of the lake, which is, like, good in its own way. don't think this is going to be a particularly useful drain because it's nice and wide. No, don't stand there. Oh, I think someone at least didn't actually fall into the drain while trying to dig out another part of the drain. That was very close. Right, meanwhile, horses, sceptres, spike balls and barrels. Yes, right. Superior quality Galena statue of horses, among other things. You. Right, 3 more of that design. Maybe actually what I should do, slightly adjust this. You have to be a bit careful, of course, because you can't walk through statues. Oh, sorry, we'll just put them wherever is convenient. Not going to worry precisely about laying the place out nicely. Right, that may be a problem. Because, I think they're still in the library. Happily, everyone else is just next door. Oh, no, that's the troll, right, yes. The Web Monitor hasn't done anything yet. At least not anything fatal. Right, grabbed a peasant. bites a peasant. Oh dear. Still, they're a citizen, I think, so we can probably isolate them. Yeah, just keep biting the same peasant. That's excellent. Don't actually kill the peasant, please. Well, I mean, do. That would be acceptable, though slightly unfortunate for the peasant. Though the army will be along to deal with you shortly. I think the scholars may have noticed there's a wear monitor in their midst and have decided to do something about it. So now the wear monitor is just getting beaten up by all of the other scholars in the library. They killed a peasant, but things may not go well for them now. And in the meantime, we're gradually filling the library with military if they can get in past everyone else. It's perfectly safe for other people to bite the wear monitor, that's fine. My dear spear dwarf, my hope is that by virtue of being a spear dwarf, you have brought a spear to this fight. Who is the spear dwarf who's actually in the fight? Tickets on thingy, I think. Yes. Be around somewhere. You. Yes, you have actually got a spear. I appreciate it may be a bit difficult to wield it in that space. Yeah, you people who know how to use shields. No one seems to have worked out how to use a weapon yet, mind. Aha! Oh dear. That's an injured scholar. But the spear dwarves are actually like starting to use their spears. Which is probably means it's fairly that the right, there we go, one dead wear monitor. And the only person I think that the wear monitor successfully bit is already dead. So I think we have dealt with the unfortunate were creature. We got any stocks of slabs, or do we need to make some more slabs to memorialise our unfortunate peasant? Appear to have a spare diorite slab, so who was the, well, probably easy enough to find out. Curious. It was Maffol, wasn't it, who we saw die. Yes. And she was actually a fit citizen of the fortress. And who hence gets a grave. And I'm going to get a lot of the thing stands up. Actually, I should. I don't think we want that corpse stockpile at the moment. I think we want to send corpses up to the surface. And then indeed to maybe start working out what to do up there. Except it is 10 past midnight, so maybe we want to stop shortly. Just let this last bit of digging get done. So that should now be draining this area reasonably fast. Yes, that's nice. I like that drain. Some people keep walking through the water here because it's so shallow. Which means we're probably getting, yeah, I suppose actually this area is quite shallow because it's only connected to the rest. Well, that probably actually is that like now deep here and quite shallow there. Yes, because of that black cap. It's like we could attempt to fell. It might be a bit exciting. Now we probably want to wait for the water on both sides to be reasonably low before we try felling it. I think we now have a reasonable set of drainage, and we mostly just want to be a bit patient. It will take a little while for all of this to dry. So let's see how our now we can make that room rather amusingly not including some of its own walls. Into a sculpture garden, which we will assign to the Chief Medical Dwarf Necromancer. Hang on. Are you married, but your marriage doesn't appear in our knowledge about you? Because that's kind of unhelpful. Yes, like, is there something weird about your gelding that means that you're now technically not able to be married while still also married? Well, we'll see. Zuglar Letterrhyme is dead. I guess it could be considered grimly satisfying. A little worried about you, Iton Zeshbar. Nishbar, sorry. She felt grim satisfaction at someone's death. Hang on, that's not right. I should have... Oh well, let's remove that slab and put it in the right place then. I'll tidy up the graveyard before we stop. Oh, Zon Olin Zedot is apparently eligible to be buried in the fortress. We'll need some more coffins then. And a slab for them, actually. That's the highest priority. Oh, and we should also dig out a bit more space around for the graveyard, since we're going to need a gravestone made out of galena. That wasn't intentional. There's a short delay now while we save. It is now summer. Probably means opportunities for more visitors, both helpful and unhelpful. So that slab, which has now been installed, tells how Kirarith managed to drown while we were trying to sort things out. I can't remember quite how they drowned. He drowned. How did he drown? It was something that swept him into the water in an unhelpful fashion, like more water. Oh, he was dodging a crundle, that was it, and fell in the water. Which embarrassing situation is not noted here. More Galena statues of horses. Some pretty terrible Galena statues of horses, to be honest. Why are your clothes rotting off your body? Like, you can get new clothes. Clothes look fine to me. to our unfortunate Maffel Derek Saxel, suffocated, slain by the dwarf. Well, kind of dwarf, Zuglar letter rhyme, in the year 169. While albeit not in dwarven form. Albeit while not in dwarven form. Right, so you just want to get that final gravestone carved. Okay, so what happened to the skeleton that we put down up there earlier? They actually got buried now, slightly to our confusion. So where are my engravers at? They're all upstairs engraving things. I think I should temporarily take my necromancer out of the military. So that he might go and do something else. Praying to Rakas is good for him. I hope communing with Rakas again will improve matters. Oh dear. Stumbling around obliviously. Trying to pray to Rakas, but foiled by extreme stress. Don't get stressed, we have uses for you. Well, that was a fairly short-lived voracious cave crawler. So now we have a memorial to that visiting scholar who... right, yes, was the one on the surface who was struck down by our first wear monitor. let's wait until we've got. I just wondering if there's anyone else who wants burying. So I'd like to get a spare coffin in place. What? Oh, was it ended up scheduled to be stored somewhere? Yes. Okay, put it in the stockpile. Right. Now take it back out of the stockpile and install it there. Okay, I think our stock of bone trinkets awaiting encrusting with gems is like so large that we can't actually put things in it until they're taken out for encrusting, which is kind of alarming. Go on, install that coffin. In the bin full of encrusted things is not. It has a reasonable amount of stuff in it. Some of them quite valuable. It should be quite fun when the next trade caravan turns up and we just buy everything in it. Well, not quite everything. Bloody grundles, have we got a swarm of grundles here again? Oh, a trade caravan's turned up. Nice. I'm still trying to organise other things. Right, the so let us shift our useful things into there. There's the incoming wagon. So if we inspect that, right, so that coffin, no one has been assigned to that coffin, so the Were Monitor corpse is not reusable. Meanwhile, the humans are turning up. And we can leave them to unload. Right, so I think that now we have at least accomplished operation useful draining of the lakes. We haven't really managed to accomplish cheering up Cog Slapped Coal. I'm kind of hoping that, given a valuing good craft dwarf ship, I hope if he actually ever visits his sculpture garden, he will find it to be a good place and be pleased with it, but who knows. Right, so yes, we've accomplished one thing. We've not managed. We've at least still got an alive necromancer who hasn't gone completely mad through stress, but still taking some effort to get them de-stressed. And well, we have one interesting corpse, at least in the form of that. Wear monitor. So maybe we can start working out how to do that next time and end up with a necromancer powered goblin slaughtering machine. Maybe. Who knows? It might work. We will see. Anyway, so that's all for tonight. Good night, and we will see you probably on Sunday.
Or tomorrow when they come out to do some things.
Well, yes, but